Well, welcome. Good evening. Welcome to the 2023 State of the City Address. I'm Deputy Mayor Mary Catherine Carmichael, and we are so glad you're here, whether you're here with us in the Waldron or watching virtually. Well, to begin our evening together, I'd like to start with an acknowledgement. We recognize that the City of Bloomington sits on Native land. The city, as well as city administrative buildings, are on the traditional homelands of the Miami, Delaware, Potawatomi, and Shawnee people, and we acknowledge that they are past, present, and future caretakers of this land. We also acknowledge that much of the economic progress and development in Indiana, and specifically Bloomington, resulted from the unpaid labor and forced servitude of people of color, specifically enslaved African labor. We acknowledge that this land remains home to and a site of gathering and healing for many indigenous and other people of color, and we commit to the work necessary to create and promote a more equitable and just Bloomington. We move forward knowing and acknowledging our rich, complicated, and sometimes painful past so that we can learn from it and create a true land of opportunity. Thank you very much. And now I am very happy to welcome you to this recently beautifully reimagined space, a partnership between the City of Bloomington and Constellation Stage and Screen, who are our hosts this evening. I hope you were able to see the art in the main gallery downstairs. This exhibition, Illuminate Emerging Bloomington Artists, features work by Bloomington artists who received grants from the Bloomington Arts Commission 2022 Emerging Artist Grant Cycle. This community is truly bursting with talent. And thank you to our ALS interpreter for the evening, Kathleen Bennett. Ms. Bennett, we appreciate your work this evening and in all the other state of the cities that you have participated in. It's great to have you back in Bloomington helping again. Well, tonight we are again gathering to reflect on our progress and chart our future together. This evening, Mayor Hamilton will be presenting his 8th State of the City address, and to mark the occasion, we've assembled some wonderful people to help us kick things off. Now, tonight's event, in addition to being the State of the City, is an official meeting of the Bloomington City Council. So next, it is my sincere pleasure to introduce Council President Sue Scanbellari, who will call this evening's meeting to order.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. It is Thursday, February 23rd, 2023. This is a special session of the Bloomington Common Council for Bloomington, Indiana, and I'm pleased to call that to order. Madam Clerk, may I invite you forward to please call the roll?
Thank you. Councilmember Scanbellari, Piedmont Smith, Barallo, Flaherty, Rosenbarger, Sandberg, Sims, Smith, and Volin. Thank you.
We will move into the State of the City address now, and at the conclusion of Mayor Hamilton's remarks this evening, the meeting will automatically adjourn. So with that, I will turn it back.
Thank you, President Scanbellari and Clerk Bolden. It's now a delight to introduce poets from Bloomington High School South. Outspoken is a student poetry club at Bloomington High School South, sponsored by language arts teacher Sheila McDermott Sipe. The goal of Outspoken is to encourage students to find their own voice through poetry. Each year, Outspoken hosts the South Poetry Out Loud competition, and the winner moves on to the state competition. Please join me in welcoming this evening's young poets, Amelia Robinson, Elwin Wiltz, Emma Bengston, and Gwen Roeder. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
My name is Amelia Robinson, and I'm dedicating this poem to my mom in the city of Bloomington. My mother, the bird lady. My mother, the bird lady, sits in her chair, watching the sparrows, the cardinals, the woodpeckers, and the hawks. She swears that each have their own personality. My mother, the nature lady, hiking, looking at each new plant she passes, trailblazing, radiant smile on her face, boots worn from use, gliding over each route, never tripping. My mother, the protesting lady, front page of the newspaper, baby on her back, marching in the street, little me looking at my mother, knowing that she's blazing the trail for my rights. My mother, the community lady, donating her time and money, helping the less fortunate so they can join us in the future. My mother, the spirit of Bloomington, represents what we are and, more importantly, what we could be.
I'm Elowen Wilt, a freshman at Bloomington High School South, and this is America. America the beautiful, home of the brave, land of the free, a country of liberty and justice for all. Let freedom ring. America, a place where the amount of melanin you possess acts as a curtain blocking the incompetent eye, determining your place in society, the way people view you, and the opportunities you are given. We all bleed red. I like the analogy of eggs because eggs can be every different color, blue, purple, brown, white, green, yellow, yet on the inside they are all the same yolk and we all bleed red. America, where the rich complain about the poor, about people begging in order to make enough to feed their children, about benches being occupied by blankets that act as a barrier between a person and the cruel world that surrounds them. Complain, 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 until finally they acting in the wrong way, turning their heads at affordable housing, turning their heads at a person's only opportunity for change, never even considering what they would do to stay alive themselves. America, a place where a person can hurt themselves and no one thinks to protect them, but instead sees them as someone who needs to get a hold of themselves or just be happy. Mental health is just as important as physical health. Someone may not seem as if they are struggling, but you will never know because you will never ask. America, a country that views women as mere objects living among kings, pawns that can be moved in any direction except the one that they choose, rape, assault. Nothing is more important than an unborn child without a heartbeat. Nothing can compare to a father's love, not even a mother's life. Now the news headlines a new story reporting on a mother who fell down the stairs and is now in jail for attempted miscarriage. America, where people feel as though they can walk all over you simply because they are insecure, simply because they feel as if they are better than you, simply because they can. But nothing is this simple. Nothing has the power to be this plain and transparent. Everything has a purpose as to why it is happening. Everything is not simple. Why can't people change? Why can't people love one another, embracing differences? Why can't we uplift each other instead of tearing each other down? Why can't? Because closed-minded people embrace closed-minded ideas. Why can't freedom ring in a country that's promised equality? All of this pain, this sorrow, this adversity, we can rise above affliction, above hardship, above tragedy, power through hatred and violence, through ineptitude and into a new. Nothing comes easy. Nothing doesn't take effort. Nothing can be achieved through apathy, but nothing is impossible. Freedom must ring in a country that's promised equality. Thank you.
I'm Emma Bankston, and this is Mirrored Future. When we are born, we are given a mirror to look into. So we are acquainted with who we are our whole life. Well, I shared that mirror the moment I acquired it because Cinderella's mice needed it to sew her new dress, and Peter Pan desired a reflector for Tinkerbell to tinker. When I got older, I couldn't recognize myself in any other mirror. I missed my mirror. While my mind was racing with imagination and chasing made-up dreams, the other girls were making preparations for the life they were told was theirs. The colors from my childhood had dwindled, the laughter turned into oppression, education turned into contention, and the blood in my body turned hesitant every time I stepped into a classroom. My nails are chipped and worn from my anxious teeth, and my hands are no longer soft. I'm shadowed in scars and scratches from trying to put those pieces of my mirror back together so maybe one day I could see myself and see my future so I could be told who I was. The nights when the kids my age were playing together and talking about their crushes, I was laying in my bed imagining where my life would travel. I would find a guy in the most romantic way, just like the princesses on Disney. We would have a beautiful wedding with pink roses, but not red ones because they were too basic. We would have 4 kids, but not 3 because one would be left out. I'd tell them stories and sing them little melodies. I'd raise them well. I would never let them touch a mirror. I would grow old and finally know who I was meant to be. I could see myself. Maybe we don't need mirrors to tell us who we should be. The mirrors on the media of perfect lives and what they should look like, the mirrors of our parents and living up to their expectations, the mirrors of others around you trying to get through just like you, trying to survive, achieve, conquer, acquire, and succeed. Maybe we don't have to know who we are to know where we want to go. The wounds on our bodies will heal and the scars will fade. You can acquire new scars trying to build a life that you want, not a life that you are told you want. And I want to give a girl's mice a piece of broken mirror to help her sew her dress, and I want to give a piece to a little fairy so she can tinker. I found who I am, not because I looked into an asinine mirror or was told who I was meant to be, but because I know who I want to be, and that's me. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Gwen Rader, and I will be performing Be the Water. With the turquoise, with the deep blue, moving with the seaweed. Resist the whirlpool to go with the trickle and flow. You choose your figure. Define, renew, let go. Make a wave, leave puddles, bursting with life. Provide, provide, provide. If a pebble drops, make a ripple. If a stone falls, make a splash. Or can you make it skip? Mix easily with oxygen, but fire should be fearful. The blood of concrete, the bones of rainbows. Collect grains of hope and passion. Build glass, build palaces. Fall again, again, again. Touch the shore, grace the dirt. Remix with the purpose of now in the views of the past.
Thank you, outspoken. That was so passionate and so much talent. Let's give them another hand. That was amazing. I'm going to call an audible. I think we have some folks over here who are hoping to get seats. Could we bring the house lights up for just a second? We do have some seats available out in the crowd. If we could see where they were, I think we could move some folks over there. Come on in, folks. We've got some seats. We'll give them just a second to get settled. Great. Thank you, Margaret. I think we're good. All right, let's get back to it. Well, we have one more treat to share with you before Mayor Hamilton's State of the City address, which could be argued as a treat in and of itself. Our digital brand manager, Justin Crossley, has been spending the last month getting to know Bloomington residents and employees to listen to their stories. He has prepared for us a video about some of the work we do in the city of Bloomington and how it impacts the daily lives of our fellow community members. Now remember, our theme this evening is Your Future is Here, and this video highlights the ways in which the city is working with and for residents who are building and changing their futures. Following the video, Mayor Hamilton will deliver the 2023 State of the City. Enjoy, everyone.
Bloomington has so much to offer for so many different people, and it's a very diverse population that we get to help and pull those resources for.
It's a strong artist community. I think that for a town this size, we're able to do some pretty incredible things.
I absolutely adore Bloomington, and I adore the downtown.
I think it's always vibrant. And I love the farmers market. I love the food truck Fridays. My house is within 5 minutes of it all.
There are lots of parks here. I like to run. I can run on a million different trails here.
The city just continues to improve and get better and grow, and it makes it a great place to live.
My name is Jason Hardy. I'm the supervisor for the Brighton and B-Town crew for Centerstone. Well, I started out from a halfway house. I was doing classes, outpatient IOP classes at Centerstone, and they offered this program that they had with the city, with Brighton and B-Town. It's helping people to get back out in the community and working to get back on track with their lives. That's coming out of addiction and mental health. So I put an application in and I started working on the crews. I've been clean for almost 3 years. So I just graduated that, and I went all the way from being homeless and on the streets. Now I got my own place, a job, just got a new car. The program has helped me tremendously. We're all like a group together. I know where they're starting out from the bottom just like I did. Some of them are going to a halfway house. They're coming from addiction like I did, going through treatment. I can be there to support for them because I've been there and done it. And they're saying, well, if he can do it, I know I can do it. So I've moved on up now, working for Centerstone. I'm a lot happier now. So it's like I finally seen the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm never going back to my old ways. So I got a future for my daughter, my grandkids. I'm able to be there for them. So I got a whole new life ahead of me.
My name is Melissa Stone. I'm the senior police social worker at Bloomington Police Department. I like to say we kind of work in 3 buckets. So working with the community members that officers have been engaged with, working internally with the department, and then doing community collaboration. In 2021, we added 2 additional social workers full-time. Anything that is going on in the city, one of us is being that bridge between the police department and the community, and then of course bringing what the community is saying back into the police department just to keep everybody informed.
I do love those relationships with those in the community. So I feel like this is a growing trend for police social workers.
The officers that we work with, I think that is a really rewarding part of our job, being able to collaborate with them and just offer support.
We all come from different backgrounds and we range in different age groups and different experiences. So I'm glad this program has started here in Bloomington, and I think it's a great program. It's more than just a job to me.
Hi, I'm Shelby Wood.
And I'm McKenna Terry.
And we are community EMTs with the Bloomington Fire Department Mobile Integrated Health Program.
We respond more to the people that need help additionally after 911 comes. Our fire guys are great, they go out, they do what they're supposed to do, but then essentially they leave. So we kind of get to step in and help meet the needs of those people and get them the services that they need further going forward, so that way they aren't calling 911 every day. And we get to prevent the falls, we get to help with the chronic disease, we get to help with a variety of different things.
So we get to follow up with them and go into the home and figure out, okay, what is it exactly that they need? And what's really cool is we're getting to ensure continuity of care. I am so grateful that we live in a place where we've been treated as collaborators and partners, and like we have value. We love coming to work.
Because Bloomington has so much to offer for so many different people, and it's a very diverse population that we get to help and pull those resources for. All of these amazing agencies, it really takes a team to make it all work, and I'm so grateful that this community sees it as such. The future of Bloomington with that, it's going to get healthier, it's going to be more connected, and I'm just really, really grateful that we get to be a part of that.
I was renting. I don't have a huge savings account. I kind of just go month to month, as many people do. And so I just didn't see how it would happen, like how I would save up for a down payment and how I could get out of renting like for the next couple years. And it felt like I needed to get out of renting as soon as possible for my business to succeed, since I work from home. It was a friend of mine, and she said I should look into the city, mainly for the class. There was an inspector, there was a realtor that came to talk to us, giving us advice on buying like our first home, and it was very helpful. Well, with the shared appreciation home ownership program, I felt like I had support, which I bought a house by myself, and I had so many questions. What did these terms mean? What is the timeline for buying a house? What are the steps? What am I missing? And I felt like the city really stepped up with the program to help answer all of these questions. So when it came time for me to like meet a seller and go in there and make an offer and go in there confidently, I felt like I had it. Like I felt like somebody had my back.
Heads up.
Ready?
Yeah.
Where's the iron?
Iron's over there.
You know, I bought the house, and within a couple of weeks, this tree decided to take it out. And luckily, the city had my back throughout the entire rebuild, and I'm really grateful for them staying with me and making sure that this house was even better than when I bought it. It's definitely not what I expected with buying my first home, with having like a disaster immediately after. But now I have this brand new home. I mean, it was stripped down to the studs, and I feel safe. And again, the city was a huge part of that, and I'm really appreciative. Well, I definitely see a future in Bloomington because homeownership has given me stability, and my business has really been thriving because of this stability.
Wow, Justin Crossley, thank you for that. That was wow. For sharing those stories, Jason and Audrey, social workers at the police department, the EMTs at fire, why all this matters, improving people's lives. So welcome, welcome. It is good to be together. Thank you to City Council, Clerk Bolden, other elected officials I know are here. I want to thank Indiana University Provost Rahul Srivastava is here. Thank you. And Vice Provost for External Relations, Kirk White. Thank the Alyssa Guntran piano students downstairs. That was awesome. And if you got here early enough, my heart was moving listening to Reimagining Opera for Kids, singing some beautiful arias, and to the poets from Bloomington High School South Outspoken Poetry Club. Thank you so much. And I also want to thank the members of the media who are here attending. Your coverage is so important for democracy, including CATS for live streaming and recording us. This is my 8th and final State of the City address. Tonight we'll celebrate how much we've done together and review what the state of our city is today and how we're prepared for the future. We'll also thank some people who make it all happen. We heard the land and labor acknowledgement a few minutes ago. Our work, continues for equity and inclusion and welcoming. We have new signs at our city limits. Everyone is welcome here in Bloomington. That must continue to be our core message and our mission. Tonight, we also remember Ukraine. Today is the 365th day of the brutal Russian invasion and occupation of Ukraine. The world is in awe of the Ukrainian people and their courageous year-long resistance and self-defense. If the lights can come up a little. With us tonight are Victoria Hanacheva. Her teenage daughter and she had to flee Kharkiv, Ukraine at about this time last year, joining an older daughter, Valeria, who attends graduate school here at IU. They have made a home for themselves in Bloomington, at high school, doing translations and more. I would like you to join me in welcoming the Hanacheva family here, Laskavo Prosimo, and expressing our support of them and all of your compatriots. Other honored guests join us tonight also, a family of 6 who fled persecution in eastern Congo in 2016 and spent 7 years as refugees in East Africa and Madagascar. The United Nations recently helped the family resettle here in Bloomington. The family is headed by Ferdinand and Faida Agat with their 3 children and a grandson, all here in Bloomington. They report that they have found, quote, love, peace, safety, and a warm welcome in Bloomington, and we welcome you all. Bienvenue. Thank you. Thank you both families for being here, for being part of our future, and for teaching us resilience and hope, reminding us that Bloomington should be a refuge and a haven for democracy and safety, a place for new people from all across the country and the world, coming for an education, coming for their families, fleeing danger or closed doors. When we open our hearts and our doors, we claim and we brighten our future. Now, everyone here has a Bloomington beginning story, like the 2 families we just met. My own story was being born here to a dad and mom who founded St. Mark's Methodist Church on the east side. I want to thank my sister Lisa for being here today, part of that family. After some time away, I returned to law school at IU, and I'll thank my brother-in-law, Dave Hensel, who's here, and we got through law school together. Thank you. And then again 25 years ago with Dawn to raise our 2 boys here, Matthew and Eric, who went, like both of us, through the public schools through 12th grade. Everyone has your B-Town story. Some stories we know and tell better now than we used to. In this Black History Month, we may think of the Taliaferros, George and Viola, leaders who broke color barriers in Bloomington and the country. We may think of the Eaglesons. It was moving to unveil the new Eagleson Avenue signs, along with members of the Eagleson family. A street once named for a leader in the disgraceful eugenics movement now honors this prominent Black family dating back 2 centuries. Even today, Tobiatha Eagleson was profiled in the newspaper, you may have seen. Bloomington's stories are diverse and ever-changing. On January 1, 2016, I began my service as mayor with a focus on affordable housing and good jobs, better digital access, on climate, transparency, innovation, and ambition. This being my last state of the city, I hope you'll excuse a little look back. Can you recall those days of January 2016? Before a global pandemic, before 4 years of America's worst president, before election deniers and the insurrection of January 6th, before newly emboldened white supremacy and anti-Semitism, or the reversals of reproductive rights, before TikTok. It's only been that long. Things can change quickly. Resilience and preparedness are essential. And to lead a city well requires, I believe, welding together 2 different elements. On the one hand, idealism and vision, picking and pursuing worthy goals and values. As a poet put it, our reach should exceed our grasp, or what's a heaven for? And on the other hand, pragmatism and practicality, getting things done on the ground in the messy mix of reality. Hillary Clinton's political philosophy speaks to me as she says, I'm a progressive who likes to get things done. Bloomington city government is full of people who every day weld together idealism and pragmatism and get things done. I wish we could have all 850 employees here to thank and congratulate. We won't all fit. And some of them are working right now or really early tomorrow morning. But to represent all 850, we do have 16 department heads, the cabinet. How dedicated and resourceful you all are, public-minded and conscientious. How lucky Bloomington is to have you leading the very complex organism of city government in partnership with so many in the community. What we've done together in the past 7 years is too much to detail in one sitting. You can check out a full picture later here, QR code, others' website. So tonight, we're just going to do a highlights and high-speed version of many accomplishments. We're going to cue the soundtrack and the visuals, and I'm going to ask each cabinet member, as I call your name and department, please come up on the stage, don't be nervous, to feel the support and thanks of this community, and a token of appreciation. You have earned it, you deserve it, so let's celebrate and get started. Let's hear some music. Come on, I'm waiting. Come on, crank it up. A little more. This is a celebration. Okay, here we go. Vic Kelson has led City of Bloomington Utilities since 2016 when Lake Monroe's water quality was deteriorating, and we fixed it and now protect it. We installed tens of thousands of automatic water meters, invested tens of millions in upgraded and expanded wastewater and water plants, and water sewer lines, saving energy. We invested training our people. CBU is planning a big brand new location coming at Winston Thomas, and CBU is thinking really long term, exploring new sources of water to supplement Lake Monroe. Thank you, Vic. Kate Gazunas. Kate Gazunas has led the Housing Authority of Bloomington since 21. We call out Amber Scobie and Jennifer Osterholt before her. BHA earns high scores in their regular federal reviews, providing safe, affordable housing to several thousand Bloomingtonians. We rehabilitated hundreds of publicly owned housing units in 5 years instead of the planned 25 soon to be completed. BHA is adding solar panels to its roof. Just announced a milestone of accomplishing 100% usage of its vouchers. We're launching an exciting new land trust at the Housing Authority, Summit Hill, to develop and steward permanently affordable homes. Thank you, Kate. Woo! Okay, next, John Connell. John Connell has led Bloomington Transit since 2021. We remember Lou May before him. BT has long had the highest per capita ridership of all of Indiana's transit systems. We're transitioning to an all-electric fleet with 14 new electric buses on site or on order. John is overseeing a huge growth in budget and service supported by our council with new Sunday service, micro-mobility service, reduced senior fares, and our very first bus rapid transit service with frequent distinctive rapid service. Their strategic plan is called Transform BT. Yeah, okay, there you go, John. Thank you. Jason Moore has been our fire chief. He's represented by Deputy Chief Jamie Wischel tonight, walking for him since 2016. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Jason. Most notably, we have earned a national top ISO 1 rating for the first time ever, joining an elite group of city departments in the country with that rating. Thank you to Dispatch and CBU as well for that help. Our fire department has reduced fire fatalities 90% in the past several years, directly saved 10 people from fire deaths. We had engines stalling out on the way to fires in 2016, but now deploy virtually all new equipment develop new services like quick response vehicles and the mobile integrated health services you saw in the video. We're doing more training, upgrading all 5 stations, and by the way, we are the only city in Indiana with a CALEA accredited police department and a ISO 1 ranked fire department. Congratulations. Woo. Paula McDevitt, come on down. Paula leads our Parks and Rec department since 2016. First, one word, switchyard. Yeah, okay. What an incredible gift to our community and the future. Paula and her team also won another national gold medal, our second, something most departments fantasize about ever winning. Miles of new trails and hundreds of new trees are here. Parks developed a fantastic program with Centerstone for workers joining city efforts. You saw Parks and Rec is beloved by Bloomington and a benchmark of excellence in public service. Thank you, Paula. Woo! Adam Wason, come on down. Led the Public Works family since 2016. Adam, we have accomplished a full overhaul and upgrade of the sanitation system. You remember those old stickers? Remember old trucks? So rusty, you could put your hand through them? I do. We've greatly expanded and upgraded the animal shelter, continuing its outstanding record of saving animals and placing them in new homes. Public Works uses cutting-edge technology to measure the conditions of our sidewalks and streets and has filled, listen, 41,000 potholes, repaired 13 miles of sidewalks, and installed 547 ADA ramps all around town. You saw the Brighton B-Town program with Centerstone in the video. And thanks for plowing snow whenever it gets it. Thank you, Adam. Yeah. Beverly Callender Anderson. Woo! Has led Community and Family Resources since 2014. CFRD may throw the best parties in town and serious commemorations too. We've launched great grant programs for downtown services and for violence prevention and for DEI support. Beverly and her team have added a downtown after-hours ambassador to represent city government in all kinds of new ways and times and places. CFRD has led some of the most challenging responses to the COVID pandemic and homelessness. Thank you, Beverly, and your team. John Zodi. John Zodi has led housing and neighborhood development since 2021, and before him, Doris Sims, who I think is here too. Thank you, John. Hand does thousands of apartment inspections a year, keeping our residents safe. It's been automated and improved that process. Hand supports neighborhoods with cleanup days and grant programs and helps people buy homes too, like Audrey you saw. Hand has been front and center in supporting nearly 1,400 affordable housing units in the past 7 years and investing $4 million in the housing development funds that we've leveraged from private developers. Sign up now for the Residence Academy if you want to learn more about city government. Thank you, John. Alex Crowley, come on down. Alex has led economic and sustainable development since 2016 with Linda Williamson before him. The small but mighty ESD leads our response to climate emergency, including with the first ever climate action plan. We have dramatically expanded local arts funding and support. ESD developed emergency loans during the pandemic and were instrumental in 2 national firsts. Our CDFI-friendly Bloomington Financial Institution bringing $23 million in mission capital to town, and our sibling city relationship with Palo Alto, California. I think we have a Palo Alto council member and sibling city founder Vicki Venker here. Thank you, Vicki. ESD, this is poetry. ESD is at the heartbeat of much in Bloomington. The Trades District and the Mill, the Buskirk and the Waldron, small businesses, parklets, solar panels, and public art. Thank you, Alex, and your team. Scott Robinson, come on down. Scott has led planning and transportation since 2020 with Terry Porter and Christy Langley before him. We have produced so many plans with our community and the council. Scott, thank you. The comprehensive plan, the transportation plan, the unified development ordinance. These are truly all blueprints for our city. Planning and transportation reviews plans for new developments, including those for 5,600 new units of housing. We explore big ideas with our community, like the College Walnut Corridor study and greenways. And you're a music killer, Scott. I don't know. And and our bike and pedestrian network. We make sure development follows the Bloomington way. Thank you, Scott, and your team. Andrew Seymour, city engineer. Most recently, since 2020, first to lead the new engineering department created in 2021. Thank you, Andrew. Crank this music up for engineers. Come on. Andrew and his team oversee the $3.5 billion of new investments that have gone in since 2016 and manage all the public rights-of-way from Hopewell to the Trades District to side paths and sidewalks, ADA ramps, and more. So much construction to manage. The 7 line, the new 7 line separated bike lane got their design and TLC, and in 2022, People for Bikes nationally named it the 5th best new bike lane in the whole country. Congratulations, Andrew. Thank you. Rick Dietz has led Information Technology Services since 2004. He's represented by Greg Overtoom tonight, I believe. Greg, come on down. ITS keeps all city government connected and equipped for today's workplace. Thank you, Greg. Thank you. We've added Wi-Fi in parks. We supplied so many workers with new equipment during the pandemic and trained everyone on how to Zoom, how to hold public meetings remotely. We've won state and national awards for Best City Website, Digital Equity Trailblazing, and our public Be Clear dashboard. And of course, after 6 years of striving, we've joined forces with Meridian to get gigabit speed fiber to the whole city with the country's best digital equity program. Thank you, Greg and Rick. We're rolling. Beth Kate, come on down. Beth has been the city's lead lawyer since 2022. Before her, Philippa Guthrie. Our lawyers help everyone else in city government do their jobs. Thank you, Beth. Advising on contracts and new ordinances, property acquisition and enforcement. Beth and her team negotiate labor contracts and deal with personnel issues. We defend lawsuits. We bring lawsuits. We won a landmark city rights annexation lawsuit at the Indiana Supreme Court. We monitor we monitor, investigate, and report on hate and bias incidents in our city. We're the only city in Indiana scoring 100% on the Human Rights Campaign Municipal Index score, and we've done it 8 years in a row. Thank you, Beth, for your work. Jeff Underwood, our 2-time city controller, most recently since 2014. Yeah, he's got the bullpen supporting him. Thank you, Jeff. Jeff and his sharp team monitor every penny that goes in and out of city government, and that's a lot of pennies. We earn top reviews in our audits and high rankings in our bond ratings. We issue refinance, bicentennial, utility, infrastructure, and public safety bonds. We have added critically important local income taxes for public safety and economic development. We've taken on big new projects like Switchyard, Hopewell, Trades District, and the Waldron right here, requiring extra efforts from Jeff and his team. And we have weathered the pandemic economic collapse and keep city government in excellent fiscal health throughout with strong cash balances and financial ratings. Thank you, Jeff, and your team. Woo! And number 16, Emily Pearson, come on down. Emily is the acting head of Human Resources, taking over for Caroline Shaw before her. HR takes care of all 850 of us city employees, hiring us, training us, planning with us, and yes, sometimes having hard talks with us. Emily and her team dealt with the upheavals of the pandemic with great skill, keeping us safe and productive. We've added paid family leave, a living wage for every city employee, enhanced savings matches, and we're going to be opening a health clinic later this year. We've reviewed compensation and trained in DEI. HR has been the front line also of dealing with the new labor market realities of higher turnover and vacancies, and led outside management reviews of every city department to enhance effectiveness. Thank you, Emily, and your team. Okay. Woo! I need a drink of water. Coordinating all these 16 departments is the Office of the Mayor, led by Deputy Mayor Mary Catherine Carmichael since this year. House lights up, please. Preceded by Don Griffin and Mick Renneisen, who are here also since 2016. Stand up, all three of you. There we go. I think the deputy mayor has one of the toughest jobs in Bloomington, to oversee all the biggest projects, keep tabs on all the goings-on, and assure our performance and accountability, and deal with the mayor, too. That's hard. The mayor's office also includes, hold your applause, Communications Director Andrew Krebs since 2021, preceded by Yael Cassander, with a team of Justin Crossley, Digital Brand Manager, preceded by Laura Collins, copywriter Deirdre Sheets. And Innovation Director Dave DeKid since 2019, preceded by Tom Miller, and Public Engagement Director Kaisa Goodman since this year, and our Chief of Staff, officially starting tomorrow, Josefa Madrigal, preceded by Elizabeth Carone. Rose Smith runs our front office, preceded by Celeste Wolfinger and Morgan Allen, with awesome interns filling out the team. Will you all stand and wave, all of you who are part of that? Thank you. Now, house lights up, please. House lights. All the good things, keep the lights up. All the good things happen because of people. So, Cabinet, I would like you all to stand as you're able. Please, come on. City Clerk and Council, if you would please stand, and other local officials stand up. All of you local officials. Any city employees, past or current. Oh, my God. Stand up, and members of our community, stand as you're able. Everybody, please thank all these heroes. So now you can sit down, because I forgot one. Mike Dekoff. How did I forget Mike Dekoff? Oh, my God. Thank you, Adam. Chief Dekoff, Chief of Police since 2008. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I'm going to be in trouble for that. That's the worst department to do that to. Our innovative department has, our innovative department has been leading change, from body-worn cameras to de-escalation training, from downtown resource officers to social workers like you saw. We twice have now earned national accreditation from CALEA, something less than 5% of police departments get. We follow 8 Can't Wait, Obama's 21st century guidelines, and we continue to see a declining overall crime rate. We're looking forward to a new police headquarters next year, and we continue our efforts to improve gun safety, and this is going to cost me a lot. So please thank Mike Dekoff. Thank you, Mike. Sorry. Whew. I don't know how that happened. Woo! All these leaders, collaborating with residents and partners, have realized record investments and change in the past 7 years. You can taper down the disco music. Thank you. Now that Mike's done. And much of that done during a global pandemic. The state of our city is very strong and ready for the future. And there's more to come for 2023. We will see major public safety investments of $30+ million in a new public safety headquarters, with police and fire co-locating in the newly purchased section of the Showers building, as well as 3 fire facilities, and new $100,000 forgivable loans to help first responders buy homes in the city. Project 46 is our planned 3-county climate collaboration, including Bartholomew, Brown, and Monroe counties. We look to launch next month. Watch for it. Our new 501c3 City of Bloomington Capital Improvements meets next week and will help steer the exciting Hopewell redevelopment as we start reviewing developer proposals. Dozens of miles of fiber optic cable are being installed right now to bring a new digital future to Bloomington, the ubiquitous, net neutral, gigabit speed available to all, and the most comprehensive digital equity program in the country, offering free high-speed internet to thousands of needy households. I have one breaking news item tonight. Our utility department has partnered with the County Solid Waste District to study a major potential waste-to-energy project. There's plenty more work and study to come, and we sincerely appreciate the partnership of the Solid Waste District and Tom McGlasson, their director. But early reports suggest pursuing a resource recovery facility to anaerobically digest, you can ask Vic what that means later, anaerobically digest compostable waste locally and up to a 50 or even 75-mile radius to produce methane gas at our Dillman Road wastewater plant. The facility could possibly generate enough heat and electricity to operate the plant. Such a facility could partially or fully address up to 10 items on the city's sustainability and climate action plans. We've been working on this for years. I want to thank again the Solid Waste District of our county for the partnership. Watch for an upcoming public meeting sharing the findings. Now, much as I would like to dig further into all that's been going on and the progress this team and this community has made, Dawn warned me against too much detail about all this. And I want to thank you, Dawn, for all the advice and support through all the years. Please also, will you join me in thanking First Lady Dawn Johnson for her incredible service to our country lady lately at the U.S. Department of Justice. Thank you. So let's turn to a forward view. The next 7 years, the critical decade of the 20s, what will we look like in 2030? I'm going to answer perhaps not as an aspiring mayor would, but perhaps as a retiring one should. Now, any forward look has to be done with humility. Winston Churchill knew that when he said, quote, "Politics is the ability to foretell what is going to happen tomorrow, next week, next month, and next year, and to have the ability afterwards to explain why it didn't happen." So what do the 20s demand of us, starting right now, so that indeed your future is here? Not just those of us here now, but yous all over the state and nation and world. First, we acknowledge that Bloomington's future is not automatic. Bloomington's future is not automatic. Hundreds of cities around the country and the world, thousands, are striving to be the best places to live and work and play. We are lucky to live in such a great small city, no doubt. But there are lots of great cities to live in, small and large. We can't be too proud and too self-congratulatory. We're a terrific place to be, but we're not unique. I ran for mayor and have served intending to up our game, to activate us, to be more ambitious. I believe we have done so, but there is much more to do, including, of course, long after I'm out of office, because no future is automatic. Second point, change is hard and essential. It's hard and it's essential. Change can be unpopular with vested interests or settled expectations. Traditions and nostalgia can hinder progress. We Bloomingtonians today can sometimes love a city that doesn't welcome all among us, or newcomers, or next generations. Now, saving our county courthouse and the Buskirk and this Waldron all were excellent moves. Losing the Chocolate Moose's traditional and charming little A-frame let us gain 54 new housing units, including 10 permanently affordable workforce apartments. Now, my parents lived in an apartment next to the Penguin, before the Moose. When they moved to town in the 1950s, Dawn and I took our boys there many, many times. Walking from home there was a ritual as each summer began. Important change can be unpopular. By the way, while the A-frame is gone, the delicious ice cream remains at the Moose. And, hint, if you want to see the old building, check out the Mellencamp Jack and Diane music video. That's got it. Former Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel said, quote, "Change is our new constant. It comes swiftly, unannounced. And the hardest thing to figure out is how to make change a friend and not a foe. A mayor who denies change is going to fail in their responsibility to the public to better prepare their city for the future." End quote. We change to improve equality and access, to protect our environment, to advance our children's health and education and future. Our land and labor acknowledgement reminds us that this imperfect union and this imperfect city must continue to struggle to improve. Third point, much of this change we'll have to do ourselves as a community. We'll have to do it ourselves as a community. That is, we won't always have willing partners around us and above us. For the changes we need, state government is unlikely to help enough. Indeed, we can expect they may impede or oppose some of our efforts. Cook Group CEO Pete Yonkman recently said, quote, "We can't sit around and wait for the governor and for the state of Indiana to solve our problems and our challenges in our communities." End quote. Agreed. And the federal government has been so fractured and stuck as well, they've seemed unable to come together and fix important problems. A lot of this truly falls to us here locally. Now, there's one bit of very good news. Just in the past 2 years, the federal government has made extraordinary progress. President Biden, Vice President Harris, and Speaker Pelosi and Leader Schumer together produced an incredible package of support, including some that comes directly to Bloomington and cities like us. First, the American Rescue Plan Act, then the Bipartisan Infrastructure Bill, then the Inflation Climate Reduction Act, and the Science Bill, CHIPS. This over $4 trillion of support is an extraordinary package to help us in our transformations. What is possible in the next 5 to 7 years is fantastic if we have the wisdom and the gumption to pursue it. It is fantastic and also rare. We are unlikely to see another such combination of federal help in the next 20 or 30 years. I hope I'm wrong about that 20, 30-year horizon, but I would bet on it. By 2040, it's estimated that 70 U.S. senators will be chosen by 30% of Americans living in smaller, more conservative states. Our federal judiciary, from the Supreme Court down, is terribly conservative and reactionary, including, of course, the outrageous and devastating overturning of Roe v. Wade 8 months ago tomorrow. Gerrymandering and money in politics impede progressive ideas. Our own state has some of the worst gerrymandering in the country and just passed Senate Bill 1 to prohibit almost all abortions. These and other challenges mean we need to chart our own destiny locally. President Biden describes America in one word. It's possibilities. He has a big smile when he does it. Possibilities. America is always full of possibilities. Same for Bloomington. Now, I'll confess, in 2011, in an unsuccessful first bid for mayor, my slogan was, "Imagine the possibilities." I've got old t-shirts to prove it, if you want one. In fact, I've got quite a few of them, if you need them. It won't be up to me to lead city government after this year, but I can't stop imagining the possibilities, and I hope you can't either. So heading toward 2030, I'm going to propose 4 big changes we should pursue locally. And making these big changes, we must do them all at once. We have to do them all at once. We can't slow down our momentum or look backwards. We also can't imagine that we will all reach consensus about all these issues. They are complicated, hard, sometimes divisive even. A majority of us in a democracy have to lead this change to spur Bloomington forward to 2030. First, on our global and local climate emergency, we need to lead. Our state of Indiana will not, period. By 2030, we need to accomplish real progress on our excellent and detailed and at least partially funded climate action plan. We have potential regional and cross-sectoral climate progress coming with the 3-county Project 46. With regional planning and more funding and focus, we can achieve our climate goals by 2050 or earlier. And notably, for public transit, we have quintupled our local support from $1 to $5 million a year. Imagine the best public transit in a small city in America, where you have the access and ease of a big city. Think of the convenience of transit in a New York or DC or London, but in a small city like ours, we could do it. We should do it. One bus rapid transit line is already funded with planning underway for an east-west 3rd Street, as well as micro-transit options. What about 3 more lines to crisscross our community? With transit-oriented density of development at the stations. Imagine America's very best small city transit system. The feds are ready to help in this, and we should do it. Second, imagine our 2030 quality of life and the jobs supporting it, with more trails, more parks, more arts, more delight. Imagine the private sector growth, expanding jobs and building on the successes of Cook, Catalent, Baxter, Boston Scientific, IU Health, Secretly Group, The Mill, Remote Bloomington, and so many more. Thousands of new, good-paying jobs. We have such a well-educated workforce, thanks to our school system and Ivy Tech and Indiana University. Remember Daniel Patrick Moynihan, who said, if you want a great city, found a great university and wait 200 years. Here we are. By 2030, we need to be leaning in together even more, IU and Bloomington. Imagine Bloomington with thriving private jobs fueled by IU and intelligence, with wages among Indiana's highest. And imagine if we accelerate our family-friendly policies and establish free pre-K for 3- and 4-year-olds. These are all possible. And in all this, we advance our diversity, equity, inclusion, accessibility, and belonging efforts. Can you imagine a 2030 Bloomington with booming tech and new economy jobs, free universal pre-K, and immeasurably more diverse and welcoming city? Third, affordable housing. You all know we simply must expand and accelerate housing production, both market rate and dedicated affordable housing. In the last 7 years, our city team has supported 5,609 new or retained units of housing in Bloomington, with almost a quarter of it, 1,400, affordable housing. That's a 20-fold increase over the previous 7 years' affordable units. So we've gotten a great start, but we need to accelerate that pace and continue 25% of it as affordable units. I believe strongly we have to continue to expand opportunities to let more people live and work in our great city. We need more choices with a mix of housing types. We're only averaging 30 new single-family homes per year. Our neighborhoods have to continue to evolve, to improve for more and for better lives. It means in the city, yes, more height, more density, because that also means less sprawl and more sustainability. We'll do up to 1,000 new units at Hopewell. We have a new land trust with Summit Hill, and we have a CDFI-friendly Bloomington to bring in tens of millions of dollars. I believe we should imagine housing for 250,000 people in our 3-county metropolitan statistical area of Monroe, Owen, and Greene counties. Put another way, that's about a 30% growth in population from 192,000 in those 3 counties today. This will not be easy to do well, but we have done it before. In 2 decades of the 1940s and the 1960s, Monroe County's population grew 37% and 44% respectively. In the decades of the 70s and the 90s, our neighboring Owen County grew 30% and 26% respectively. Imagine 250,000 people in our MSA, the energy and the creativity, the diversity and the innovation, the sustainability if we manage it right. That's 3 areas with good momentum where we need to keep up our game and keep stretching: climate, jobs and quality of life, and housing. In a 4th area, we are deplorably lacking: public health and our criminal justice system. Indiana is near rock bottom in the nation for investments in our public health, and we are in many public health indicators. We know the State House and the governor last year enacted terrible Senate Bill 1 that seeks to cripple reproductive health services, devastating women and families. We generally lack adequate access to healthcare doctors and direct services. We have to respond to all this locally with all that we can, relying extensively on our county government's primary leadership role in public health. We cannot wait for the state to save us. Yes, continue to urge their support, but we have county-wide resources available right now to invest in public health, including mental health and substance use disorder services and reproductive health. Now let me speak a moment about our neighbors, whom we often see on the streets and in parks or encampments in and around our city. We should all thank the extraordinary nonprofits and partners of government who together are embracing the Built for Zero model of making homelessness brief, rare, and non-repeating in our community. The city and the county, collaborating with these partners, are contributing millions of dollars to advance this heading home solution. We are moving forward, but the calamities and suffering we often see on our streets are only in part a housing issue. Primarily, we are in the midst of a public health emergency in our community. We simply must invest significantly more locally in public health, including specifically mental health and substance use treatments. And look, we know the debacle and moral catastrophe of our jail, which in many ways is also a cry for more public health investment. I challenge us in our highly over-incarcerated country and state. Imagine if for every new dollar we propose to invest in needed jail and jail-related services, we also invest a new dollar or more in prevention and pre- and post-incarceration services and facilities. And again, we can't wait for more state public health money. Despair, isolation, and addiction are very real. We should dedicate millions a year locally into mental health services. Imagine if by 2030, Bloomington were a national leader in local mental health services. So I imagine how Bloomington can be thriving in 2030 if we address these 4 areas energetically. None of this is automatic or easy, but it is possible. I'm going to close and highlight, you can clap for that. No, I'm closing and highlighting 2 things to make all of this possible. Resources, that is financing, and political will. 2 necessities to achieve a vision. First, on the funding of all this government effort. Taxes is not a bad word. They are how we achieve many important things together. Recent decades have seen a terrible, harmful denigration of public investment and efforts. That's wrong-headed and wrong history. It is precisely public investment that has dramatically advanced humanity in our country and across the globe in equality and opportunity in public schools and healthcare and public health and social security and transportation infrastructure, all infrastructure. And remember that our own local income tax, even after our recent major new local efforts, is still the 2nd lowest of our 7 immediate county neighbors in a low-tax state, in a low-tax country. With some resources already on hand and the capacity for additional bonding and revenues as needed, we have ample financial capacity to meet the challenges of 2030. The second essential ingredient is political will. Nancy Pelosi recently quoted Abraham Lincoln about how to get things done. Lincoln said, quote, "In this country, public sentiment is everything. With it, nothing can fail. Against it, nothing can succeed." I can't say any better. In this country, think community, in this country, public sentiment is everything. With it, nothing can fail. Against it, nothing can succeed. Is there public sentiment to meet the big challenges? I believe fervently yes. Our public wants us to respond and lead concerning the climate emergency. Our public wants us to support great new jobs and achieve increased diversity and quality of life. Our public wants us to ensure housing opportunities so people from all walks of life can live here. Our public wants us truly to protect public health in all its dimensions. When our public wants these things, we are called to muster the political will to deliver them. I believe in Bloomington, and I believe we can continue our progress, accelerate our progress. With excellent local momentum and unprecedented federal support available, we can combine resources and political will to rise even higher. It is a great time to be in Bloomington with the state of our city so strong. Your future is here, should be heard far and wide. Your future is here, a new graduate imagining a career. Your future is here, a family fleeing rising seas or wildfires or other climate impacts from our coasts or around the world. Your future is here, immigrants leaving depressed opportunities or war or persecution. Your future is here, families just wanting a great place to work and play. Your futures are here. My friends, the future is very bright. It's very bright in our home city. These lovely, verdant, forested, water-rich, gentle, and generous hills of southern Indiana. The state of our city is strong, and I join you in imagining all the possibilities ahead of us. What a privilege and a responsibility. It continues to be a great honor to serve as your mayor for 311 more days, for which I thank you, and I sincerely look forward to our next chapter. May Bloomington's blessings continue to flow. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I got 311 more days. Don't give it up. So now I'm closing as you head downstairs. Please take in the art exhibits, enjoy piano music from Kyle Adams, and enjoy more drinks and desserts. If you're hungry for more than that, you can find Peely's Taco Truck out front. Thank you again for being here, and onward we go.